Okay, so go on to operations management. All right. So this one is quite qualitative, theoretical. We have very minimal calculation. Okay, so as always, how we approach any subject here, first thing is we need to be aware of the definitions. Please be familiar with the concepts. All right, we need to define, we need to start with something, right? So all your answers, if you look at the question, you highlight, if there are certain keywords, please define them first. Otherwise, you look at it, you don't know how to start, right? So we can start with the definition. So first thing here, we are looking at the management of systems or processes that create goods and or provide services. Okay, so if you have, you can highlight this. So while you're reading this, okay, so we study operations, right? We are interested in how products are being produced. So just a straight introduction first, right? Let's say we look at any businesses, okay? Any business that you want to use as example? Any businesses you come to your mind? Marketing. Okay, something that we consume, easier. We are the consumers. Sorry? Handphones. Okay, so we want the handphones. We want the handphones, right? We consume the handphones. Okay, so mobile phones. We consume mobile phones, right? This is a physical product. So let's say now we go back. I assume you're talking about the brands like Apple, Samsung, and all that, right? So how do they actually produce the phones? Because now that we talk about production with operations, how do they actually produce the phones? What do they need? Software? Anything? Hardware?
Production, like big umbrellas, production.
Okay. So a big, yes, okay. Do we need any person? Any workers?
Yeah.
Yes, right? Okay, we need workers, engineers, the factory workers. Then do we need any materials? Materials? Yes, right? The parts, whatever, the screen, the procurement. Okay. Do we need any machineries?
Yeah.
Yes, right? Machineries. Okay. So this would be the case for mobile phones. Let's say we look at another example. Let's say McDonald's, right? Something simpler, close to our heart. Eaten McDonald's, right? Okay. So we go into the shop. I'm hungry now, right? And then I want to consume McDonald's. So how do I order? So I go to the counter and then, okay, so the screen, the kiosk, or I go to the counter when it's very full, I order from the person, right? Okay. Then I say that I want to order filet burger, fish burger, okay? What do they use to create that?
This.
Obviously, right? Okay. Bread as well? Bread. Then any other things? Any ingredients? Any other ingredients?
The oil.
Crumbs.
The oil, the crumbs. Okay. Then any equipment that they used? Oven, the fryers, right? Okay. So we have two examples already. We have different kinds of resources, right? So here they talk about production. Let me go on to this slide first, okay? Okay, never mind. Don't confuse you. I'll just stop here. All right, so you talk about production. And whether it's a mobile phone or whether it's a food, right? McDonald's meal, we say that we need different kinds of resources. So the person's working, whatever you're doing, we consider this as labor. Okay, so we call this labor, all right? Then what about the machineries? So we give it a nice name. We call this capital goods, right? Then for resources, food, raw materials, right? Let's say I'm producing diamond, I have silver, gold, and so on, all these for the rings. All these are considered as natural resources. We call this land. Okay, so now we put it into formal terms. So we have capital, we have labor, we have land. So all these are essential to produce anything, right? And whatever business, you just use a different combination to produce. Let's say right now, right? This is a school, this is a business. There's no physical product, right? Of course, if you want me, then you let me know the price, okay? Then I'm your product. But let's say now I'm just providing a service, right? I'm selling you this knowledge. So providing a service, are we using the same three categories as well? One more time, huh? So just now the two was physical product, right? Something that you can buy, you can see, you can touch. Now I'm selling you the service, right? This is a school. You don't get something to bring home, but it's something done to you, right? So hopefully you finish today, you learn something, or you finish watching your movie, right? With whatever you're doing, okay? So in that case, are the same factors of production or the same inputs being used? Is it still labor, capital goods, and land? Okay. right? So there's more involvement with, let's say, you guys as well. So we still use labor. Then capital goods. Any capital goods here involved? The building? Some more?
Everything is land.
Okay. So building itself, we can consider as land because it's built on land itself. Then within the building, what do we have?
Like,
This one, right? The aircon, the projector, and all that. So that'll be the capital goods. Any land, apart from the building, any land?
classroom.
The classroom, okay. Anything else? Anything like natural resources kind? Like burgers, you get food, right? You get food. But here, anything that you get?
When you say natural resources,
No.
it's just, when you say natural resources, for me, it's like gas and other resources are either resources or physical resources. So human resources or physical.
No, physical, not human. Human we consider as labor. Okay, so maybe not so much, unless I print you something. So then the paper could be considered, right? Okay. So we are still using those, but with different combinations, right? So maybe you get a natural resource turned into an item for you. Maybe it's just someone doing something to you, right? So whatever the case, we have these three factors of production. Okay, then we add on a fourth component, which is what isn't directly involved, but we still need. So in the first place, let's say I finished my studies. Okay, I graduated. Let's say I learned everything I need to perform at this role, but there is nowhere to go. And then the machineries could be built. The resources are all there, but they are just waiting to be used. So then who needs to come in to do something so that all these can be brought together and then they serve their purpose?
The operational
Organization.
operational management.
Okay. So at a broad higher level, we say we need the entrepreneur. Right, then we go down, we have the managers, supervisors, and so on. So the founder, the entrepreneur, is the person who brings everyone together from the start, right? So there we have the four factors of production. Okay, remember? Capital, entrepreneurship, okay. All right. So this one here, yes, over here. All right. All this. Okay, this will be tested, huh? Everything will be tested. Everything will be tested. Okay,
When you say natural resources, you mean raw material.
Raw materials. Whereas, if you want to do very well for your quiz, we are selling questions as well, okay? So it's $1 million per question. You can share amongst your friends, all right? You can all buy together. Okay, no questions, huh? Okay, let's move on. So over here, we talk about producing something. We say that we are using all these inputs. So inputs, factors of production, resources generally. So we say that all these are available and we want to go through the production process and make them into the output. So this is the whole production process. So in between, from the inputs to the outputs, we say that we want to add value to it. All right, we want to add value to it. So let's say, for example, now we have a piece of wood, right? We have a piece of wood, and this piece of wood, let's say, is just cut down from the tree. And then, do we use it? Let's say now you are the consumer, like I'm a consumer. Do you think I will be buying a piece of wood?
My the more that is done to this piece of wood, the more valuable it is.
Okay, so I could use wood, okay, but if you look at me, I probably wouldn't buy wood, right? I have no use for it. So there's probably zero value unless I want to resell. But suppose now it goes through the whole production process. They polish, they make it a nice shape, they do whatever, okay? Then after that, it becomes a nice wooden table. So that table has value to me now because previously I couldn't do anything with it, right? I could just put it at home and then store it. But now I can do something, I can write on it, I can play games, I can put my computer on it, okay? Or I can put my laptop and watch the same movie you are now. Okay, no offense, okay? I'm just saying lah, all right? So then it has some value to me because I can start to utilize that table. So I will buy it at a certain price. So it goes from input all the way to output, and there is a sort of a value added during this process. Okay, straightforward, right? So let's move on. Okay, so coming back, we say that with the operations management, okay, with the operations management, it is involved in production. It is involved in studying the systems about producing products. But in any factory or in any organization, it is not the only department. Let's say, simple example first. Let's say we are producing t-shirts, right? We have a factory produce t-shirt. So the operations side would probably be the factory, the workers producing t-shirts. Correct? Makes sense, huh? Okay, so that one quite straightforward, easy to see. Let's say now in the context of a school. This is a school, right? Then the operations side. What is the operations department? What is the operations team equivalent?
Mostly customer service.
Customer service. Okay, okay. Anything?
Finances.
Finance, just the operations, Okay, so we have the other departments as well, right? Which come on to in a while. So we have the finance, the operations, the marketing, we have the human resource. You know human resource, right? You have human resource module.
Yeah.
Okay. So human resource as well. So then within that, just talking about operations first, right? Just for operations first. So the operations team in a school, right? What could they be doing? There could be several. Okay, based on how we define, there could be several. So you're talking about school, right? Teaching, right? So here, because I'm creating the service, so it fulfills this definition. We are producing that service, or I'm producing that service as the lecturer, as a teacher. So then I'm providing something to the students, to the customers. So that will come under the operations side. Agree? Agree? Okay. Then let's say now we look at the finance. What does it do? What does it do?
Handle the finances.
Yes. Okay. Specifically, yeah, it's finance, correct, right? But what could they be doing? Sorry? In the school or in a business setting, any general business. Okay, budgeting, right? Okay, budgeting. Okay. We could set the budget. We see how much you can spend, how much given to your department. Don't spend too much, right? Don't use up everything, etc. Okay. Then what about the marketing? Not marketing, I don't say marketing. What could they be doing?
Promoting the products.
Promoting?
Coming out from
Okay.
putting to the finances.
Okay, so marketing, we promote products, right? We can come up with new promotions, new campaigns, and so on. So that could be marketing. Hey, human resources.
They mostly hire people and hire people.
Okay, yes.
I don't know, some companies, they would handle the HR would handle the payroll,
Okay,
but some companies finance will.
okay, all right. So payroll, recruiting, training, development. So we have talked about what the different functions do separately. So the next thing is, would operations be linked to them? Or is it all just you do your own thing, I do my own thing? Is there any relationship involved,
Sure.
right?
But
Okay.
correlation does not mean that they are tightly connected. But for sure, finances will affect operations because the inputs or the raw materials or the operating fee, like fees, right, is going to be handled by the finances. And if the marketing is successful, they're gonna have more requests,
Mm.
they're gonna have more operations, but they are not really connected.
Okay, okay. Okay lah, that's the end already. Thanks for coming. Okay, so operations side, this is to do with the production, right? And then the finance side. So here the question could ask you, okay? They could ask you, what is the relationship between operations and finance department? What is the relationship between operations and marketing, or operations with people? So it could come as a short answer question. It could come as an essay. Okay, so depending on how much they want you to write, right? That's what I'm asking you. So operations side is to do with production. With finance, this will set the budget, right? It will set the budget. So the budget is important because you cannot exceed. So we are now talking about our suppliers, for example. So the suppliers, the finance will tell you, okay, what is your budget? How much can you spend? How much is the maximum amount? So you need to source for your supplier. That's one thing. Then the other thing is the quality matters as well, right? You cannot just find the cheapest, but the cheapest is lousy. Then do you use? Probably not, right? So then you have to consider both aspects, the price, the quality. Operations with the marketing. So marketing to do with promotions and so on, they also look at the customer's demand. So will you want to buy iPhone 3 now? Because it's outdated, right? So then if no one is buying iPhone 3, then you have to tell the operations, actually they do know, right? But let's say now something not so obvious, right? People are not buying so much iPad. People are not buying so much MacBook. So what is Apple producing the most? iPhones, right? I just give you the answer. So it is producing the most iPhone because customers are buying the most. So the revenue comes from iPhone, which is more than half. Okay, if I remember correctly, it's more than half of Apple's revenue. So then, of course, we produce more. So we look at what customers want, what they respond to, and then we produce those. In terms of HR, right? What is the relationship? So, okay, give me a while. Let me admit people. Okay. So in terms of HR, we are concerned with recruiting, training. So if you want to produce all these products, if you want to develop the latest iPhone, you need scientists, right? The engineers. You cannot be producing the same phone now and 10 years later. Will you probably be buying, what's the latest now? iPhone 15? 15 is the latest? Okay. You probably wouldn't buy iPhone 15 10 years later, right? Maybe you will because you'll sell it for $200. Okay, maybe, right? But let's say now we want to keep developing. So we need someone to come up with the designs, come up with the latest technology so that it will keep improving the product. So these are the relationships between the different departments, finance, marketing, HR, and operations. Questions? So far, okay, right? Quite easy. Today, no difficult things, I think. Today is all easy because only first chapter. Okay, so this is the relationship. So just to recap first of all, the relationship between the different departments and operations. Second thing is the production process. The 4 factors of production, what are they?
Plan, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship.
Okay, so it's quite hard to remember probably because after today, maybe you forget already. All right, yeah, probably. So this one thankfully has a nice way for us to remember. If you look at the first 4 alphabets, okay, if we arrange nice that way, you look at the first 4 alphabets, this one you can remember as CELL, C-E-L-L. All right, capital, entrepreneurship, land, and labor. So we can remember this way as well. Okay, so important for first quiz, all right, because we are testing mostly the 1, 2, 3, first 3 chapters. Okay, so if you remember this, then you should be quite fine for the quiz. Okay, let's move on. This one straightforward. Okay, this one. So just now we talked about the difference between goods and service. This slide here, right, is just saying that there could be not so much an extreme end. You can see that how they do this is you start from here and then it goes all the way up to service. So in between, there's a continuum. So automobile assembly, steel making, all the way to teaching. So we look at teaching as the extreme end. This one will be on the service side. This is purely or 99% teaching, right? You're probably not receiving much thing except maybe notes, worksheets, but even now everything's online. Then here is mostly about products, not so much services. In between, there could be a mixture. So we see things like, let's say, fast food, right? Just now we talk about the fast food example. So we go to McDonald's, we go to Burger King, KFC, we buy something. They also serve us. So this will be sort of like a combination. This falls in between the two. Fast food, you get the item to eat, right? So this is a physical product. Then sometimes, or maybe a lot of times, we are lazy, right? Nowadays, let's say after class later, right? I feel a bit lazy because do so much today. Tomorrow we have class as well, right? Tomorrow you have 2 classes.
8:30 and 2.
Same. So let's say I'm very tired. Okay, I probably will be. Let's say I'm very tired tomorrow, right? And then I go to McDonald's and I order food, right? Now they offer this option. They say that, okay, you can go collect yourself. You can also have table service, right? So I just pick up the number 10s and then you just put on the table. You just sit there, right? Don't move. Then the food will come to you, right? So that is also considered a service. So a service and a product together, okay? So that's saying that there could be some sort of a mixture here as well. So the question could ask as a simpler question, they could ask you to give examples, right, whereby the goods and the services are provided together in the same setting. Okay, so this could be an easy question. A slightly more challenging one, they could ask you to discuss different aspects. Let's say here and teaching, or let's say here and the product. So realize that a product and a service, they can be quite different, right? Still here? Okay, still here. Okay, there's no response. Okay, so a product and a service, how could they differ? So now we look at this point. Do they have it here? Okay, never mind. I'll just go on my own. So we have a product and a service. How different are they? Let's say in which aspects could they be different? So let's say now, okay, give you an example. Let's say now I sell you teaching service. or I'm an insurance agent, right? I come to you, I sell you the policy, right? So it's quite a service-based service industry. Or let's say now I'm just a factory worker, I produce steel. So it's a very product-based industry business. How could they differ in terms of the operations? Let's talk about quality first, okay? The consistency of quality. Could it be the same? Could it be as easy to maintain the same consistent quality for both a product and a service?
It's different because mostly when it comes to goods, you are dealing with the production of this good. You're not actually interacting much with the human factor of the equation. But if you're doing services, so for instance, washing cars, so you're dealing with my customer might be rude, that would affect your performance and cleaning the car, right? So that's what I think is like the human factor is more involved in the service.
Okay, so human factors more involved, products maybe not so much, right? Then in terms of promotion, could that be different as well?
Promotion of
the item. Let's say we call it an item. So whether it's a good or service, in terms of promotion, could it be different?
Yeah, because when it comes to services, I think it's easier to do promotion for services because you get an instant reaction or instant feedback from the customer.
Okay.
Products, you would have to wait for the feedback to go through a loop, right? Because you go to sales and all that, right?
Okay, so a bit longer. Okay, all right. So just to add on, for services, right? Let's say I cut your hair. Okay, so while you go for a haircut, right? Probably you interact with the hairdresser when you feel like it, right? You tell them your requirements. Sometimes if you go long enough, they'll ask you, hey, how's your day? Right? Are you okay today? What are you doing recently? How's your job? How's your family? So there's this interaction. Whereas for product itself, when you buy iPhone, do you think about the salesman? Probably not, right? You don't even know, you don't even care who's the salesman. You could go online and buy the iPhone. So you're caring more about the product specification. So then with that difference in mind, let's say when we are producing or when we are marketing the service, it could be more of a relationship-based aspect. So let me see. Let's say let me see if I can find, okay? Okay, this one. Okay, so just for context, UOB is a bank in Singapore. All right, it's a bank in Singapore and they serve mostly the Asian countries, right? I think they have presence in Malaysia, Thailand, and some other countries, China. Okay. So here, this is an intangible item. It's a service, right? You cannot see a bank account. You can go in and log in, right? You see numbers, but it's not like a tangible product. So it's more of a service-based. You could buy policy from them, right? You say, oh, this is a savings plan, it's a whatever plan. So it's quite service-based. So in terms of promotion, right, you can see that for service, here they focus a lot on the values. Technically, if you think about it, right, this grandpa and these children are not what you are buying, right? You don't buy these two people, right? But they put this on the advertisement and they are playing with the abacus, right? And they say markets fluctuate, values don't. So in terms of promotion, they are focusing a lot on the values. So they're saying that this is a bank that cares for you. This is the bank that does the right thing. They don't cheat you and you should come and bank with them. So they're selling you on the human aspect because you are interacting with them. Then on the other hand, let me see if I can find again. iPhone. Yeah. Okay. So this one, okay, let's say for example this, right? This one. So they show you this product, this person holding the iPhone, and you can see that, okay, you can see that this is a very nice, sleek design. And they also mention one aspect, which is lots of storage for lots of photos. So the focus changes a bit. Here, it's a lot on the values because you are not actually producing any physical product, nothing to see. But with a product like a phone, we are looking at something that can be put across to the consumers. So this one here, lots of storage, right, is one aspect of the phone. So you could want something that has a lot of memory space. You could want this color. You could want this specific design. You could want this specific latest camera function. So then with all this, we can actually promote this in our advertisement. Okay, you take this down yourself, right? Because I'm just saying this one will be uploaded, but I need to edit the videos first, then I upload on Facebook. Okay, remember to watch, like and subscribe, all right? Okay, so but meanwhile, if you can just take your own notes, okay, because it could be an exam or quiz question also. Okay, so again, coming back, all right. So first thing we talk about the what do we talk about? So the promotion aspect, right? We talk about whether you have human interaction. Okay, so these would be examples of the points that we have between the goods and the services. Anything so far to clarify? Nothing, huh? Okay, let's move on. Okay, this one are examples, hospitals, example. Okay. Okay, let you watch this first then.
Each year, the giant retailer Amazon brings in billions of dollars in sales.
Okay. In between, I just add in a videos because you look at my face for too long, then you feel too tired, right? So a short 4-minute break. All right. Break as in watch the video, okay? Don't do your own things. So we'll discuss in a while.
Each year, the giant retailer Amazon brings in billions of dollars in sales. To achieve these numbers, it ships over 18.5 orders per second, 6,000 orders per hour, and ships approximate 1.6 million packages a day, with millions of unique visitors, plus Amazon Prime members. But what happens in between? How does Amazon manage to get packages to you? When compared to other logistical companies like UPS, DHL, FedEx, and other significant delivery partners, Amazon's shipping system is more intricate and sophisticated. This complicated delivery method is one of the key ingredients in Amazon's success formula. The one factor depends upon the fact that who is fulfilling the delivery, Amazon or the seller. About 1/4 of the US deliveries are done by sellers themselves with the help of third parties like UPS, FedEx, and DHL. The other 3/4 of packages are delivered by Amazon. The path depends upon how big the package is. Amazon's fulfillment centers are more or less split into 3 categories: small sortable, large non-sortable. Small sortables are the bread and butter for the Amazon. These items are about 25 pounds, or 11 kilograms in weight. Large sortables are basically larger than this, up to about 60 pounds or 27 kilograms in weight. The reason for the split between large and small sortables is because of the fulfillment of operations, or other that lowers the company's reliance on humans. For example, Amazon has a Kiva named robot which picks up the entire mobile shelf on which the required order is placed and transports it to the picker. Essentially, rather than the picker going to the shelf goes to the picker. These are shipped from the large non-sortable fulfillment centers. These facilities are even less automated than the large sortables ones and even include workers who create custom boxes for odd-sized items. Some of these large items will go directly into the system of a third-party provider, typically XPO Logistics, which would deliver those bulky items to their final destination, while others will continue in Amazon's system. You see, in less popular areas like the mountains of Colorado, it doesn't make sense for Amazon to operate their own last-mile delivery. They use UPS as their alternative to make deliveries in rural areas. Amazon transports the packages to the local post office themselves, and the postal services charge very low rates for last-mile deliveries. While exact numbers aren't publicly known, estimates indicate that USPS charges Amazon about $2 per package for the last-mile delivery. Right now, it's believed that about 20% of Amazon's packages ended up delivered by UPS. In 2015, Amazon Air started with its lease of about 20 aircraft from Air Transport International and has since grown to almost 70 aircraft, all leased from the other airlines. Amazon has managed to build a 21st-century logistics network using 21st-century techniques and technologies, and of course part of the threat comes from the company's market dominance. But most is because Amazon is innovating in a way others are not. Amazon is the true example of being competitive and innovative at the same time to bait the market. Amazon is more focused on the logistics system to make the deliveries on time that helps them to be compatible enough to do the things on the right time with the best technology. If you want to be in the race of logistics business like Amazon, the team of Code Brew Labs can help you with a tech-proof solution which has high-end features to make your logistics business stand out. With branded customer app, allow customers to track delivery, do payment with multiple payment method, reviews and ratings, in-app chat, driver app to give them alert on task notifications, optimized route, easy navigation, with daily earning report, powerful dispatcher panel with comprehensive dashboard, automated dispatch, real-time tracking, advanced analytics. Maximize your efficiency and revenue with a full.
Okay, this one just advertisement. Okay, so don't have to watch. Okay, so we will be looking at a lot of examples throughout. We will need the real world examples in your answers. Okay, quiz not so much, but for the exams, you will have essays and short answered questions. This one will come without a story, right? They may ask you an example from there. Okay, so this one, they will give you the story, so you just answer everything based on that company. But for essays and short answer, you will need to provide your own examples where needed. Okay? Okay, just to let you know first, so in case I forget and I let you know too late. So these two components will require real-world examples. So as you explain the concepts, they will ask you to put in examples of the real-world company. All right, so just now we went through the first one, which is on Apple. Okay, Amazon, yes. So Amazon, this would be how they deliver the packages. So why we mentioned this, because nowadays, okay, where was it? Okay, just come back here. Okay, so nowadays we talk about products, we talk about services. They could be very different from how the traditional way works because a lot of things are moved online. So this is online. And at the back end, you see that, let's say as an example of a company, they have a lot of things to consider. So first one here is in terms of the transport. Okay, so if you see here, right, they were talking about the transportation. There is this concept of a third party. Okay, so do they transport everything themselves?
No, UPS.
Okay.
20% though.
Okay, so they do what we call outsourcing, which we'll go through subsequently also. So outsourcing, we're talking about giving someone the job, you get them to do it for you, right? Why would we want to pay someone, spend money, and let them do it?
Why? Cost-wise,
It's cheaper.
it's cheaper, or they might be doing it better than you.
Okay, so in this case, we see that they deliver to this. Okay, interesting, right? See here. Let me go back. Okay, never mind, cannot find. So this is Prime. Prime, this one is from Amazon, right? You can see their logo. So they do deliver some items themselves, but they also outsource. Yeah, this is UPS. Okay, so two things to look at. First one is it does some transportation itself. So you are doing transportation, but you also outsource to UPS. So why duplicate the functions? So the reason, of course, is because of the cost, right? So in terms of the cost, this one, they deliver to all areas that Amazon may not. So if you look at the expertise, if you look at the economies of scale, okay? So let me add on, okay, add this on yourself, okay? I'll just type this in, Okay, this concept on economies of scale. See the lowering of average. Okay, so we talk about this concept of the economies of scale. It doesn't mean that whatever we do, we don't have to let someone else do it also. So Amazon does the transportation itself, but it can also outsource to UPS because it wants to save on the cost. So we bring the concept of economies of scale, that is the lowering of average cost as the volume of output rises. So UPS could have a presence in certain areas. They could deliver over, they could have vehicles there, they could have a transportation hub over there, but Amazon doesn't. So when it transports, let's say to these certain areas, it doesn't have to do it itself. So it does through by UPS and they will do it cheaper. Okay, so transportation, this is one thing to also look at. Then the other thing is in terms of Amazon's, okay, never mind. In terms of Amazon's service, right? So the last part before break, So we order the item. Just now we say that in terms of this continuum, right? Amazon, would it be somewhere in the extreme end of service, products, or in between? Last thing. Let's say for Amazon, would it be just service, just goods, or is it in between? In between, because, okay. Suddenly no, okay. So they deliver, right? They deliver. You also get the products itself, right? Amazon, if you do know the business model, you can actually sell as a third party. Okay, so it may not be produced or it may not be manufactured by Amazon per se. So it's not an Amazon product. You can technically sell something as an individual on Amazon if you're aware. Okay, so you can actually, let's say, for example, okay, let's go shopping, okay? Let's say if you know this website, Alibaba, right? I think we mentioned before, right? Okay. Okay, so let's say I want to buy something to sell. This is Alibaba.com. This one is where the suppliers shop. Okay, let's buy. Okay, this one has women's shoes. These look very nice, right? Okay, you can buy and wear. You see, it's very cheap because the minimum orders are about like 1,300 pairs. Okay, so when you're shopping here, you don't buy one pair. Okay, it's for suppliers, but
B2B,
sorry?
B2B, not B2C.
Okay. So you can, wait, what was I saying? Okay. You can, of course, get a sample. So let's say I really like this pair of shoe, but before I want to sell or before I sell, I need to check first. So you can get the orders, you can get one item delivered to your office, your house, and you check the quality. Okay. You can change the colors, the material, depending on whether the machines there can actually suit your needs. But let's say now I buy any of this, and then I can actually once I'm okay with the sample, and then I'll place the order. Let's say for this pair of green orange shoes, minimum is just 5 pairs. Okay. Let's say I click on this. Right. So if I order more than 300 pairs, they will charge me $3.7 each, right? $3.70 each. It looks not too bad, right? Quite nice. And $3 is very cheap. Okay, so anyway, you see here, it allows you to customize all your labels, right? It doesn't have to be fashion A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So you put your brand, you put your company's name, your logo, you can make adjustments. Then once it's done, you can send over to Amazon's fulfillment center to sell. Okay, so the products need not come from Amazon because me as an individual, I can buy from Alibaba and sell through Amazon. But Amazon provides the service where they deliver over to the customers. So we see that it's not just one company does the product and service. It can be as a third party, we produce the product, then we go through Amazon's fulfillment process and they deliver to the customers. Okay, so we make it more complicated, right? So from the start, we talked about how it's just products or service. Then we say it's products and service by one company. Then now you can also have the case where it's products and services by different parties, right? So it all comes together from different parties to deliver the final thing to the customers. Questions? So this is an example of the short answered question. Okay, so this one, the answers are all typed out, right? So easier to explain. So we have a question here, all right? This will be some sort like your short answer question, okay? This one, the answer is shorter than what we have to write in the exam, okay? Because the previous round, the short answer question was 5 marks, okay? It was 5 marks, all right? Then I adjusted it for this round, so all the questions are 8 marks. You can see here, okay? So it's supposed to be longer, but roughly we have a taste first how the questions and answers go. Okay, so just bear in mind, this one now, our short answer questions are 8 marks. Previously, theirs was about 5 marks. Okay, don't feel so upset, all right? The answers here are a bit shorter, but at least we start to familiarize first, okay? So for example, they ask us, what is the link between operations management and the other functions, okay? So this is how the question can look like in the exam. We will not ask this in the exam, all right? This one just for practice. So first thing that we do with all these questions, we will highlight the keywords first. Familiar, right? Okay, so we're going to highlight the keywords first. Let's say in this case, operations management. Okay, if you don't have, you cannot find anything, then it's okay, right? Don't have to find keywords all the time. But if you do, then you can use it to start. So how we started for this question, we started with a definition first. So you may want to define a key term, or you don't want to, or there's nothing to define, then we go straight to the answer, which is point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, and so on. Later on, this one will be a longer answer up to point 4. All right, this will be the kind of question that we will face. Okay, so this one here will be more like what we are facing. All right, this one here is just for practice. So first thing, all the questions, you can highlight the keywords first. So maybe I understand the question, maybe I've forgotten everything. It's okay, right? Just write something. Just write something, but please don't copy the question into the answer. Okay? Okay, now you laugh, because quiz, it wouldn't happen because quiz is open book, right? No one will do that. But exam is closed book and the invigilators are walking around. Although sometimes people cheat, okay, but the invigilators are walking around, so you probably can't really refer anything, can't check anything, right? And they don't want to leave it blank. So they will copy the question and then they will copy into the answer. Okay, all right, don't do that, huh? So what we can do is we will highlight the keywords. Let's say here, operations management. Then we start to define. So if you don't have point 1, point 2, let's say I don't know anything, right? And then today is my exam. So I can only write this. It's still 1 mark. Okay, right? You don't need to understand the question. The question can ask you about operations management and a lot of things, right? But I just find this word and I can use the same definition for all the questions. It doesn't matter what they're asking here. Right? Close my eyes, I don't care. Right? I only look at these 2 words and then I just write this. Easy, right? So you get 0. Okay? Okay, right? We are just aiming for distinction, of course. Okay. Okay, so let's say here, okay, what is this? Yeah, okay. So let's say now, in this case, we do know the question and the answer, then we proceed. So definition first, this one taken from, either you take from the page here, this portion, or you can copy from the slides. Just now at the top, they also gave us the definition. So either one will do. Don't need to write both. So either you talk about this or you talk about this. Up to you, right? Whichever easier, shorter. Then after that, point 1, point 2. So this is as what we mentioned earlier on, right? Before the break. And the other functions. So every time when you explain, you notice here, it doesn't just talk about one. You have to mention the relationship. All right. So this would be operations and finance. Then they explain what is the main point here. So every paragraph, we need to write the main point. So it could be that they will tell us about the budget to stop. There's one kind of relationship, right? You can talk about how much you can spend. You can talk about the supplier side, etc. So see how you phrased. This is your main point. Then you will still have to explain something. Okay? All right. Please don't just write like that and then finish. Also have. Okay? Because the question is 8 marks for our exam, right? You cannot just give like this and then smile, oh, I know how to do this. and then expect 8 marks, all right? Cannot. So we have to write a bit longer. So you have to explain how this point works. So for example, they give us a certain cost limit, a budget, and then they need to adjust the supplier amount of resources to buy so as not to affect the budget. And this will affect the production later on. So if we don't know how to explain, let's say this is all I know. Okay, then nothing else to say already, right? This is all the content. Then instead, you can give your own example. Okay, this is for our own example, right? But if you want to go even better, then you talk about Amazon, Apple, any company, and you use those real life example inside also can. All right. Then after that, we go on to point 2. Now, if it's 8 marks, this one wouldn't be enough with just 2 points. We need 3 points. And 3 points will not include definition. Okay? Sorry? Yes. Okay, so how it works is this. I am very confident in my answer. I don't want to waste time, so I will not do this, and I will have point 1, point 2, point 3, finish. Okay? But I am half sure. I don't know if I'm correct. I'm too stressed, or I want to play safe, then this will be your insurance. Of course, this insurance doesn't cover 8 marks. Like you buy insurance, you cover all your bills, hospital bills. This one doesn't. This one gives you 1 mark. But let's say the rest of the points, I don't write so well. I didn't write enough. I didn't give example, blah, blah, blah. This will give you the extra mark. So it could be between credit and distinction. Of course, not pass and fail, right? You're already passing. Okay, not looking at failing, huh? We are all distinction or credit. Okay, so point 1 to do with finance and operations. Second one to do with marketing and operations. So again, they tell us what the customers are buying, so we can produce the items in demand to increase profits. And we gave the example as well. Okay, so examples a bit optional because the question doesn't ask specifically. It didn't say using examples, giving examples. So if they didn't, then just stick with this. You want, you don't want is fine. But if the question says, let's say this, and then comma, using real world examples. Okay, so if they put this, then the real world example itself will carry marks. Okay, anything you have, you let me know, huh? So if the question says real world examples, then itself, this will carry marks. So we can write 6 pages for this answer, but there is nothing about a real world example, we will not get full marks. Okay, so look at the question carefully, all right? So the definition could be your insurance. Then if they ask for real world example, this one we have to mention. Then if it's 8 marks, we will give 3 points. How many marks for essays? How many marks for essays? How many marks for essays? No, we'll be so surprised. It's 10. Tada! Okay, so okay, let me just type here also, right? So that you can refer, huh? Otherwise we tend to forget. So let me just paste this. Then 4 points. Okay, now every point is 1 paragraph, 1 concept, 1 explanation. Okay, so for essays, we are required to have 4 because they carry 10 marks each. Definitions or intro, this one is excluded. Okay, so you cannot say all points means 4 paragraph, right? So introduction 1, conclusion 1, then 2 points only, cannot. That will only count as 2 points. Okay, or 2 paragraphs. All right, so this is a rough guideline. Question so far? Question? Okay, let's go.
We done with chapter 1?
Sorry.
Did we finish chapter 1?
Finish. Haven't yet. I'm still going on. Okay. Okay, so let's move on, huh? So here, second one to do with marketing. Then a third point that we can add on. Let's add this on, right? So this one I just do in point form, okay, faster. So point 3, okay. Remember the content? We have marketing already, we have finance already. So what other things to mention? Suppose this comes out for our exam, we need 3 points, right? Because this is short answer question, 8 marks. So what is the third point that we can mention?
Integration of all these together.
Opinions.
Huh? The opinions later. Too advanced.
Yeah, the entrepreneurship thing.
No conclusion this time. No.
Differences.
One more content. So we have point 1, point 2 already. We need 1 more point so that we get the full 8 marks. This one will give us 5 to 6 marks. Very stressed. Very stressed. Familiar faces always very stressed.
Looking at the marking in this way,
Yes, yes.
it's vague. That you ask me about something
Mm.
and I should give you an answer. And according to Pareto's law,
Mm-hmm.
20% of what you say answers 80% of what you want to answer.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So does it have to be 4 points?
Okay, there will be exceptions. There will be exceptions, but this will be phrased in such a way that's enough to write. So we would ask you for essay and then there's only one paragraph.
Yep.
Yeah. So usually, let's say we don't know how long to write, then there will be a rough guideline. Last department, we have finance, HR, right? Okay. So we talk about HR. So HR and operations. Okay, we can say that this will okay. Yeah, well, production. Okay, so this will be our final point. We say that we also have HR and operations. This will be production of goods and services using people with specific skills. So where HR comes in is they need to recruit people, or we can also train the people. Right? So it could be recruitment, it could be training people with these skill sets to perform the tasks. Okay, and then once you are done, because this one short answer question goes straight to the point. All right, if you have no definition, this one is introduction. Let's say we don't have, and the answer is just like that. Point 1, point 2, point 3. Once you are done, finish. Okay, so straight, direct. All right. But let's say we do have, then it will be, okay, then it will be this, and then the 3 points below. Okay, questions? No? Okay. All right. Then we contrast with this essay question. Okay, let me move on a bit here. All right, so for essay question here, this one, the question phrasing will be a bit different. It talks about 2 parts. Okay, there are 2 question marks here. Huh? So first one, why is it important to match supply and demand? If a manager believes that supply and demand will not be equal, what actions could the manager take to increase the probability of achieving a match? So for this will be a bit tricky because it has 2 parts. We cannot just mention everything that is targeted at the 2 generally. We cannot just mention only this or only this. So if they ask you 2 things, it has to be very clear what you're answering. It could be here, this one, it could be here. So you need to divide out the points. Then the other thing is you can also think about the sequence. So it could be in order. So they ask you step 1, step 2. So when we answer, don't just step 2, step 1, step 2, step 1. So don't jumble up your answers, because we also need it to be very clearly structured. So it's not just about the content, it's also about the structuring, the phrasing as well, because essay, right, all comes together. So for this portion here, right, just a bit of an intro, we also mentioned that for operations, it is not just about producing. If you look at the higher level, the operations manager, they also need to forecast the demand. Right, so we're talking about forecasting in the later chapters. So if we are forecasting, then we need to use some numbers. We need to know the sales figure. We need to understand how much people are buying. Let's say at the current period and the past. So we are using the data from previous to forecast into the future. So why is it important? Why is it important to know how much people are buying, and we base our production levels on that number?
Because if you have oversupply, then you will have 2 issues.
Okay.
Also, you would have basically issue with inventory and waste. Right? What else could happen?
If you fall short,
and you would be losing money.
Okay, all right. So these are the situations. Okay, so then that's probably why that's how we answer this part anyway. Okay, the first portion. Okay. So we look at this answer here, all right?
Then the prices would go up, right?
It would go up, but if we fail to produce enough, then you wouldn't maximize your profits also, right now. Okay, so question asks, why is it important to match supply and demand? And if a manager believes that supply and demand will not be equal, what actions could the manager take to increase the probability of achieving a match? So in this case, how we possibly can answer, right, a few ways. We know that first of all, we need to answer these 2 parts, okay? But the 4 points need not be equally spread. So you could have 2 reasons you could have two reasons. So it could be here, why is it important? We give two reasons. And then you can mention two actions or two ways to address the problem. Okay, that will make up your 4 points, right? You can also mention three reasons and then give one action as well, because there's no clear cut as to how structured it has to be, but you have to address these two parts. So one way, you have two reasons, which is answering this portion. Then you have two actions of the managers. Okay, so two ways, two reasons, two actions, 4 points. Another way, you can give three reasons. Then after that, you just give one action will do. All right, so the length is still intact. You're not writing too little. You are still answering two parts and you have answered everything. Okay, so bear this in mind, right? You can play around with how many points or how many paragraphs for each part, but the length shouldn't be compromised. We still have 4 here, but you can choose to play around. Okay, questions?
When it says manager here, it means operational manager.
Yeah, operations manager.
But an operational manager can't do much about demand.
I mean, matching demand and supply. So they have to do the supply side to match the demand. Okay, all right. So this one, for example, let's say here, if supply is more than demand, some products will be wasted as they cannot be sold off, especially for perishable items like food. Once they are produced, they have to be sold within a period. Otherwise, they are no longer fresh and cannot be sold. So the points mentioned just now, right? We talk about the problems if the supply and demand don't match. Okay, so it says here that it is important that both are equal. That means people buy 500 and we produce 500, right? So it just nice. But what if they are not equal? So we give first scenario, you produce too much. Then what happens here? That means first thing, the prices could go down. Second thing, you will generate more wastage. Okay, let me highlight this. Okay, we will generate wastage as well. So wastage, you can go on, you can talk about losses, you can talk about too high cost, you can talk about profits not being maximized. Okay, so these are some reasons. Then second thing, if the demand is more than supply, some customers may not be served. This is the main point. Then, okay, the business loses on potential profits to be made. Okay, so far with the first 2 points, if you are still here, okay, remember to share your favorite shows, okay? Recently, I got no shows. Maybe you have good recommendations. Okay, points 1, point 2, points 1 and 2. One is supply more than demand, one is demand more than supply. So the bad points or the bad things that happen as a result. Okay? Then later on, right, for this approach, they have 2, right? So points 1 and 2, they give the reasons. And then points 3 and 4, we talk about this second part of the question, right? Which is the solutions, the problem, the strategies. So here, first thing, they can try to use more data to be more aware of the market of customers, using it to forecast the demand, and then using it to plan supply more effectively. Then point 4 talks about collaborating with other businesses to serve additional customers. For example, they can rent the space, they can use the space if more customers show up. So this one, you can be creative. There's no one way, right? You could have your own experience. You could read it from somewhere. Someone could have told you this. So you can give it your own adaptation, but please, something reasonable, something that can be believed, right? Don't say things like, then the alien will come and catch the customer, that kind of thing. Okay, something possible, reasonable, realistic. Okay, so here they use data, or they can collaborate so that if we need more space, if we need more equipment, we borrow from you at certain cost, everything can deliver very quickly. All right, now this one, of course, here we have the main basic points, but let's say to add on, to touch up to this, right? How else can we make it better to fit the needs of the essay? So this is an essay question, okay, based on the marks. And then based on the length, this one will be essay. How many marks? 10 marks. Okay, 10 marks. All right. So we want it to be perfect. Perfect is not enough, right? Everyone will be perfect. So you have to be perfect and better than your friends. Okay, then you get the marks. Then your friends will get 9 because they are not as good. Okay, so what else is missing? Anything else missing here? The points are all there, right? Point 1, 2, 3, 4. They have addressed the 2 parts. They have mentioned these 2, 1 and 2. Then we split half, point 1, 2 for this. Then 3, 4 for this. Okay, so content is more or less okay already. Of course, if you want to add on, it's fine, right? If you want to give real world example, if you want to talk about what the manager actually did, also can. But let's say now you don't want to add anything to the content, anything else that we can add here that you can boost your mark. Opinion, opinion no need. Opinion for discussion, yes. We'll have, okay. So we could have the introduction, we have the conclusion, right? So let's say here, introduction, then we could have the conclusion as well. Okay, so introduction, what could we talk about? If you remember what we mentioned just now.
The concept of supply and demand.
Okay, we can define something. So we will define SEPs. Okay. Demand, supply. Okay, how do we define these two terms?
How do we define?
Let's say in your own words, right? If you're in your own words, or if you took economics before, you can use that also. If you have the economics term, but if not, you can use your own words.
I now give you an answer.
I thought you were going to give me an answer. It's and
Demand basically is the customer request for a product.
okay.
Supply is the fulfilling of the request.
Okay,
The
by the producers.
others.
All right. Okay.
You
So
have high-end demand, high-end customers, low-end customers. For instance, if you look at the oil industry, so those who are making plastic analysis, we use oil products.
okay.
If the oil prices went up, they won't actually bother, and they won't be like demanding that much. They might actually find an alternative for sure.
Okay.
But for instance, if you look at countries that really need oil, even though if the prices went so high,
They
they
still
will still demand it, right?
okay.
We also have people who have supply, like, for instance, the Middle East, the Gulf area, for them to extract the oil, it's so cheap. But for US, because they use the, what's it called in English? It's called rock oil. something like
Okay.
that. Yeah. So it's harder for them to actually extract it. So that's I think the two types in supply. and the two
Wow.
types of-
Okay. Okay. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Give two versions. Okay. So if you want the simpler one, so you can talk about demand.
That's my influence, right?
But
You reach the point where the demand is the supply is only with everything.
wow. Yes. What?
I'm into influence. I studied on my own.
Oh, okay. I have the whole recording for economics online. Yeah, okay. Go watch, help me boost the viewership. Okay, so this one first, right? This one is the simpler version. All right. We just say that it's from consumers, and then these are people who want to buy them. Supply will be from firms who want to produce and sell them. Okay, so if you want the more formal definition from demand and supply, I add this in as well. One is so either one, the blue one should be simpler, more straightforward. If you want to impress the marker, then just go with the red one. Okay, I have no secrets, right? Because like so many of you, that's why just now the question really talk about the discussion, right? Haven't mentioned yet, but you already say need opinions. Okay, so introduction, we give the definitions. If you don't have the definitions, or let's say we feel that demand and supply seems easy, nothing to define, then you can still give your own scenario. Okay, so definition is one straightforward way. That means you choose the word, you give the meaning, and then you just go straight to the points, right? But let's say there's nothing to define. Let's say you read the whole thing. Let me see if there's any example. Let's say you feel that demand and supply is so easy that there's nothing to define. Then what we can do is you look at this and you can just briefly phrase the problem. So you can say things like, in some scenarios, it may be difficult for the firms to produce exactly what the consumers want. So in these cases, there could be issues like wastage or let's say underproduction, full stop. Then this will be explained below. Then you go on to your point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, right? So in this scenario, we only give the context. That means I never define anything, but I tell the reader what we are talking about. Okay, so just a background information first. Okay, so either way works because this one is sort of like an insurance. It's not the actual mark carrying answer. If you do very well for this, at most you get 1 mark. But if your 4 points are super good, then you already will get the full marks. Okay, this one will just be a little extra. Okay, this will be like, it's like most of the days you keep healthy, right? So that you don't go to hospital. But in the unfortunate case that this person goes to hospital, they have the insurance to cover the bills, right? But they are not thinking that, oh, because I can go to the hospital for free, every day I just eat junk food. I just lie on the bed, right? And then wait to get sick. Not like that, right? So these are the main things that we need for the marks. Okay, then in this case for conclusion for this is a bit optional because the question is not asking for your opinions yet. Subsequently, we'll have the more difficult essay question. This is the easier one, right? Agree, right? It's too easy, right? Okay, you said so, huh? So cannot complain. Okay, so if we look at this, it only asks you why, but let's say if we translate a bit, what it's asking us to do is to actually explain. Okay, so if you think about it, it's actually to ask us to explain something. Correct? Right? You look at this whole thing, huh? It's actually asking us to explain something. It didn't use the word explain, but we ask you why like that, or what actions could they do? So it's technically to explain something. So if we're explaining something, okay, if you're explaining something, then it's mostly based on your reasons, your concepts, things from the notes. So all these are just the points, the content. But suppose today the question changes a bit and they say discuss. Okay, so for example, I use red, discuss. Okay, so this will make a difference. So it's the same 10 marks and it's almost the same question, but we add in one extra word. Discuss what actions the manager could take. Okay, can see the difference? Can see the difference? Any difference?
I think it's kind of the same.
No, just based on the question first. You can see the difference, right? Before that, it was just like that, okay? Now, it is like that, okay? So in the question, just circle this.
Open-ended question or closed-ended question.
Okay. So if you circle this, then you get 1 mark, right? Like you play, find the difference. You know the game?
No.
So you circle this, then you get 1 mark. No, just try. Okay. So if you see discussion, then this is where we need the opinions. Okay? So explain what actions they could do means we say what they can do. So the manager can use more data. The manager can collaborate with other businesses. Full stop. You can do this, full stop. But now we are asking you to discuss. That means it is not just enough to give the points, we need your opinion as well. So let's say for this, using data to forecast and then using the data to forecast so that you can plan supply more effectively. Is it 100% foolproof? Is there any way that this may be a very problematic solution? Could this have any flaws?
If you have inaccurate data.
Inaccurate data, then you were saying? Okay, or let's say wrong techniques, right? Or let's say the wrong variables used, etc.
Are we going to use any forecasting formula?
No. Secret. Okay, so look at the portions in red. This one will be needed if we are doing discussion because discussion asks you about opinion. Let's say, right, now I'm going for this party. I may have used the same example before. Now I'm going for this party, right? I can wear this shirt, then I find another shirt. Let's say I find a black shirt. This one, okay, can see, right? This one, okay. So now, explain what shirts I can use or what I can wear to go to tonight's party. Okay, notice, explain what t-shirts I can wear to the party tonight. So if you only ask me to explain, then I'll say, okay, you can wear this shirt. You can also wear this black shirt, right? We explain this is what cotton, what fabric, blah, 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 finish. But if we ask you, discuss the shirts that you can wear, then you cannot just say what the two shirts are. You need to add in your opinions as well. So tonight, I'm going to a gathering with the rich people. Should I wear this or where, okay, maybe not so obvious. Let me change a bit, all right? Let me change. Okay. This one, okay. Okay, so a bit of contrast. So now I am going to a party with, that's very formal, that is with the rich and famous celebrities, right? I'm meeting Taylor Swift tonight. So this party, right, is at this setting, and then discuss which one I should wear. Discuss. That means we explain this is the suit, this is my current outfit. I need your opinion as well. Now you are my friend, right? Which one should I wear? Really? I will not like you. Okay, so this one, right? Anyone choose this? Anyone choose this? Yes?
I explain why I chose this. That's what you want to say, right?
So why you go with this? Why? Why go with this?
Because it's a formal occasion.
Okay, so it's formal, right? So formal, you choose this. This one because I look good, right? Okay, so it's the same concepts, it's the same items, but your opinions are different, right? You can feel that because you look good in this, you choose this. This is formal, you go with that. So for this, there's no right or wrong answer. If you say that this is a discussion question and they ask us to discuss what actions to do, then at the end, when you're looking at the conclusion paragraph, you can choose to, let's say, compare the two actions. Okay? So again, the first part, point 3 and point 4, we explain first. Because if I ask you to discuss whether it's this shirt or this shirt, I must show you first, right? You must know this is the shirt, that is the second option. So you must understand the two shirts first, understand the concept first. Then once you're all familiar already, then now is your opinion, right? Which one seems better? So it's the same thing. So when we are discussing the actions, we need to explain first, what are we talking about? So we are talking about, first thing, forecasting. Second thing, collaboration. Then your opinions come later. Let's say during the conclusion, we can compare the two actions, which is better, or let's say which is not as good, okay? Or let's say which is more expensive, difficult to implement, and so on, right? So you can have different points, different opinions, different perspective. We just need that from you, okay? But if the question is saying explain, if the question is simply saying explain, then do we need to do this? Don't need. Really, not joking. Okay, so if the question says explain, you can save this step. If the question says to discuss, then you need to have this step. Okay, now you know the difference. Both are worth 10 marks. Okay, so yes, you are doing more for the same marks. Okay, no choice. If I remember correctly, one will be explanation, the second one will be discussion. So I think nothing to choose. It will just be 2 questions. Then you just do the 2 questions, all right? Or maybe 2 discussion, I can't remember. Okay, but definitely discussion have. It will also appear in the short answer and the case study. Okay, so they may need your opinions here. They may need your opinions here as well. Question? Remember the happiness you felt just now? Half an hour ago? No more, right? Okay, coming back. No questions, No questions? Okay, let's just recap a bit here. We finish up this, okay? So we talked about the differences between the goods and the services. These are some of the extra points that we have also. So the resources required are different. For example, service, we need labor. Product-oriented, or let's say the products, we are going with more raw materials. Then production processes can be different as well. One would be performed on the customers. One would be performed on the customers, or let's say for the customers. Okay, so notice here it's all services, but a bit different. This one, you are doing on the person. So that person experiencing a change, they are different now compared to when they come into the shop, right? I look different. Makeup, my face looks different. Hairstyle, right now I look like crap, right? When I leave the shop, or I look very good. So this is done on me. This second kind is done for me. So I don't know how to open a bank account, right? I cannot access the system, but you can. So I go to the counter, they would open up the account for me. All right, so either it's on the customers or for the customers. Then in terms of product, it's more to do with the raw materials converted into finished product. So if we see this finished product, what does it actually mean? Finished product. Ready to use? Yes.
The output.
Output, right? So the consumers will use the finished product. Examples, the tables, the chairs, the drinks, the laptop, right? The contrast will be, let's say, a raw material. In between, we have an intermediate product. So for example, raw material could be the wood that we chop down, right? So pieces of wood that we send for polishing, but is it a table yet? In progress, correct.
Finished products, and you have to be processed, right?
Correct. Okay, so here we have finished. Then we also have the intermediate goods. Okay, so work in progress. So this one, just to be clear, then in terms of uniformity of products, just now I haven't mentioned. So we have service-oriented and the services and the product. So in terms of the services, we say that there is a higher degree of flexibility. So for example, here, let's say this class, right? This class, operations management, today is September, first lecture. The previous time that I did this class was in January. So that was about 8 months ago. Would it be the actual same delivery? No, right? So it's the same person, but delivery is different. It's the same notes, okay? Using back this thing and also using back the slides, but the delivery is different, right? The questions asked, the pace, the break time, etc., all different. Then, of course, if you throw in another person doing it, the whole delivery also very different. So in terms of the flexibility, this is now higher. So for for services, the uniformity will be lower. So you will not expect it to be exactly the same as we do with a physical product. So let's say physical product, this shirt, right? This shirt. So if you go to Uniqlo, maybe you can buy. Where did I buy this from? So let's say I buy from H&M, right? H&M. Then someone else also buys from H&M. We probably will say, you look so similar, right? Today wear the same thing, match, right? Because it's the same thing. And they will look very identical because here is from the same production, using the same materials, going through the same machines, right? Machines, they are called under factors of production. Which category? Okay, Ken, thank you. Sometimes randomly ask, right? See if you remember. Okay, so here, higher degree, lower degree, right? So all these points, please do remember some of this, all right? How we study this, of course, you can go through all the content one time. Then you can sort of strategize and guess. For the MCQ, all these are worth 2 marks. You can choose. So that means the difficult questions will come from asking you the small details. Okay, they could ask you like explain. For example, let's say the definition of operations management. So here we have development, execution, maintenance, 3 words, right? So they ask you, the definition of operations management is the blank, execution, and maintenance. So then you need to answer what is this missing word. They can give you development, growth, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know what I'm saying, right? So MCQ can ask you all these small details. So we pick up from all this. Then when we're asking about the essays and the short answer, all these will need you to write a lot of things. That means if you just study this with like a bit of content, it will not come out for the essay because essay needs to have a lot of things to write. So we are going to look for points where there's more things that you can write. For example, let's say here, this one very classic example because here we have like 4 points. This can fit into one essay question, right? So as you read this one, you can label, you can highlight whatever possible essay question. All right, if you need the question, just let me know. It's about 1 million per question. So yeah, the offer starts. Then don't have to highlight anything, right? Just buy. Okay, then inventory, also different. Services, usually we don't need as much space. So space becomes less of a concern, right? Compared to if you're selling a physical product. So physical product, you talk about like the fulfillment. So how you store, how you deliver over. But let's say for services, it can be quite straightforward. Come over, I just do the service and then finish. There's nothing to store, right? And I cannot store as well. So we bring on to another point. In terms of inventory, for services, you cannot store, right? I cannot store this teaching and then I give it to you tomorrow. right? So if let's say today, right, I'm not here, I didn't come for class, then as a student, I will not receive that service. Then I cannot have it like tomorrow. Of course, you can record, but let's say that aside, right, you cannot get it tomorrow. But with a physical product, you can just store it, you can give it to someone else tomorrow. Okay, so all these points do remember. Huh? Then as you read through the notes to prepare for your quiz, read through and also highlight the key points. Please don't just keep this on Canvas until the last day of the quiz. Okay, your quiz will run till 30th December, right? 30th December, right?
16 to the
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so read through. We have about 3 weeks. If you are intending to do on the last day, please don't. All right. If you intend to do on the last day, then at least read through. You have about 3 weeks to read through the content. Okay. Don't do last minute because the system can crash. And also sometimes they say that there's some family emergencies, the pet die. Really, because every other month I have such stories. So do early. All right, do early. So this one. Question so far? If I missed out anything? Okay. Then the other concept to look at would be in terms of customization. Another thing to look at in terms of customization. So this one will go more in depth later on. Today, just a brief introduction. So customization allows you to adjust certain specifications. All right. So let's say I buy a car. I can choose the color. I can probably customize the wheels, the engine, I can modify, right? So this one is quite customizable. Something fixed could be, let's say I buy this computer, then maybe it just comes with this keyboard. I cannot change. You can change later on, right? For example, but it comes as a set. So you just take it or leave it. So now the question is asking, why is the degree of customization an important consideration in the planning of your operations? So if you are selling something customizable versus something not customizable, why do you need to consider this in your operations planning?
because it turns operation to project. So if you have a highly customizable product, it's not operational anymore. Project management is mainly a unique or a temporary endeavor that has a start and an end. To create a product or a service. But operations is going day to day. And sometimes projects and operations meet somewhere.
Okay.
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 Where you actually have an enhancement project for the operation itself. So if you have a highly customizable product, this is not anymore operation.
Okay.
It's a project.
Okay. So
And I believe most of services, if not all of them, are not operational.
okay.
They are projects because you're not repeating the same thing. So for instance, if Toyota is making 100,000 cars this year,
Okay.
they are making the same car over and over and over. But if you are talking about Tesla, for instance, even though they are making cars, because you can customize these cars, I think every car is a project. That's how I see it.
So how should I phrase? So it's unique and then therefore the resources will be different? Can I phrase it here like as
The
such?
resources would be different.
Or how do you want to put this across? Because we need some explanation also.
Yeah, example, right? Same thing.
Okay.
cars.
So examples of cars.
But that's not a project anymore. That's not a operation anymore. Because the team has to come up together and say we have to do this and that and this and that. Every car is completely different from the other. But Toyota, they are making the same cars over and over again.
To some extent,
Quite a bit, because even though if you're making the same building, it's on a different piece of land.
yes.
So it's unique.
Yeah. Thanks, right?
And also you can take examples of Subway and McDonald's.
Okay.
Subway is completely constructed on a customized way of burgers, sandwiches, and McDonald's is completely
Okay. Another example. Okay. So here we have the uniqueness as one thing. Then we have the cost of production as another consideration. Then, okay, let me add on. So maybe the resources, the factors of production, different. A few years back, if you've been to Singapore Zoo,
No.
Should go. Okay, we discussed before. Okay, should go because it's quite expensive. It's quite expensive because, let me see, Okay, admissions rates. Oh no, this one for school. Okay, wait. I've been to the one in Taiwan. That one is very cheap. I think it's about 5 Sing dollar equivalent, 4+. It's a super big compound. You can see all sorts of animals. Every time I go there, there's nowhere to go. So we'll just go to the zoo. Singapore one, hardly go because it's many, many times the price. So let me see. Okay, this one. Yeah, it's just 49. Yeah, 117. Okay, this one is worthwhile because you can go to the zoo, the River Wonders, Night Safari, and Bird Paradise. Okay? Okay, so anyway, why talk about zoo, right? I remember going to the zoo and then they have a very nice cafe over there. So the cafe will be very crowded during lunch period because everyone is eating around the same time. So then around 12, 1 plus, is sort of like near the entrance and then it's quite central area. Either you come in, you see it, or you have gone around the zoo, you see all animals eating, then now you feel hungry yourself, right? So you come back to the area and then you can go and eat the restaurant. So this restaurant is special because they offer just about 3 to 4 things on the menu. That's all. And they don't really let you customize a lot. So for example, okay, I can't remember the exact thing. So it could be like fish and chip, chicken rice, spaghetti. That's all. 3 sets. Fish and chip, chicken rice, spaghetti. Then it comes with a main course, the dessert, the drinks. So you can choose what drinks, and that's probably about it. So very minimal customization, but the queue moves very fast. So every time I go, right, either with family, friends, you see a long queue because it's quite popular, it's very nice, it's not too expensive, and the food is popular, so everyone just goes there. But even though it's usually fully seated, it's already fully occupied when we go, the numbers and people keep queuing up, right? So you keep giving the numbers, but people are also leaving very quickly. So it's not like sometimes you go restaurant, right? You go there, then let's say you stand outside, you see some queue, and then they're, oh, waiting time 2 hours, right? 1 hour. Then you look inside, maybe half the people, right, they already finished eating. So they are there, and then they are sitting and they're just chatting about life, right? Hey, you want to buy insurance? Hey, my pet just died, all that. But they never go, right? Finish already, empty table, never go. But the zoo there is always moving, right? So what happens is because it's very fixed, 3 sets to choose. You choose your drink. And the drinks, no worries. So either it's coffee, tea, iced lemon tea, that's all, right? Maybe also 3 options, you choose one. So they produce in bulk, don't need to customize a lot, and then you say set A, iced lemon tea, right? By the time you are because they take orders outside. So by the time you seated, after a very short while, right, no one will forget about you. They'll come over, your drinks are served, your meals are served. So because of this, the turn through rate is very fast. Okay, so just wanted to share this example, right? If you remember, you can use it for the exam. Okay, but if you use it, then I'll charge a copyright fee, so 1 million. Okay, so it could make the difference between faster production and a slower production, right? Because if you need to customize, take your orders, blah, 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 everything is very slow. Okay, it also needs a higher level of skill set. Let's say if you are tailoring, let's say you are doing hairdressing, right? You need to perm, color, treatment. Then the other one comes only cut, right? So all need different skill sets. But whereas if it's very, very fixed, right? No customization, then you just produce all this in bulk. Whoever comes, serve the same thing. No need to wait. Yes. So,
think much more better money in customization than actually
now.
Because if you go order a car, for instance, Masuri.
Yes.
Masuri, they modify Mercedes cars.
Sometimes no one answers me, right? But at least today, so much response. Thank you so much. Maintain, okay, and still remember to come, okay. Really, if you pay attention, you notice, right? First lesson we have the most people. Okay, as it is, we have 71% on the name list, minus those who are online. And look at around here, now we should have about 50 plus, right? I don't think we have 40 here. So 30 plus 20 plus, so it's about 50 plus, right? So I'm missing 20 plus people. Okay, then you wait through maybe till the end of September, then you see how many comes. Maybe it's just 1 row. Okay. Okay, so anyway, All right, so this is the thing. Okay. Outsourcing, we also mentioned just now the case with Amazon UPS, right? So this is one concept or one topic we'll look at subsequently during the later chapters. Okay. So outsourcing, we are saying that we don't do it so well, or we don't want to do it, or it's too expensive to do it. So we get someone else to do it, right? So you don't do everything yourself. It's not all in-house, but you outsource. Okay, so outsourcing, it can be good and bad, right? It can be good and bad. So typically the idea is that if you have certain competitive advantage, right, we keep it in-house. So you have your, let's say, secrets, the trade secrets, or you have a certain,
Flexible.
flexible, as in, then you can modify. Okay, there's one. So we can adjust whatever we want to do, right? If it's in-house, easier, and we keep our secrets, right? Like let's say if you know Secret Recipe restaurant, okay, or any restaurant, right? Let's say McDonald's, right? So they probably will keep the cooking themselves because we don't want to outsource and then let everyone know our secret, right? So we probably keep this ourselves. So that's our core business. But let's say to the recruitment, let's say towards the marketing side, they may want to outsource. Because let's say I'm a food business, I'm F&B, right? I may not want to support, I may not know how to do marketing. So we can hire a marketing agency and then we let them do it for us. They have the skill set, they have many customers at the same time using the resources, so they can also achieve economies of scale. Remember? Okay, how to define economies of scale? We went through. Cut costs.
Yeah.
Something else?
Reduce waste.
Okay. When a low cost, okay, cost mentioned. So cost will reduce when something happens. Okay, all right. Here. Okay. This will be fun. As we go through more, then suddenly I'll pause, then you can ask questions. Then I don't have to talk all the way. Okay, so economies of scale could be a reason as well. All right, but of course, outsourcing also means that you may not be able to control every aspect, right? Let's say I want to do more social media marketing. Let's say I want to touch on TikTok. I want to touch on whatever. I may not be able to control fully because the agency may not have the expertise, or they may advise you to do something else. So it's not all within the same company. Okay, so now just introduction to this concept briefly. This will be one of the later chapters over here, all right? This one, yeah, even have the practice question all given already. So if you want, you can read the whole thing by today, then you are ready for the exam.
So this is gonna be available in the whole thing? For everyone to
Yes,
available?
yes. Okay, but the questions will not come out from here, all right? It's just for practice. Yes, but it wouldn't be the exact same question, all right? Exact same questions, we are selling for 1 million per question. Okay, so we look at this, right? They say to discuss some impacts of outsourcing, okay? Discuss some impacts of outsourcing. So it's the exact same steps, right? First thing, we will highlight the keywords, which is outsourcing, straightforward. Then we define outsourcing over here. Okay, so you get someone else to do it for a fee, you don't do it yourself in-house. Then we will explain what happens. Okay, so they say the impact, right? So impact, first one could be that it creates a dependency. So it will be difficult if that firm charges a higher price. Let's say I totally outsource my marketing, right? I don't know anything about marketing. So in this, let's say a restaurant, this F&B business, it's all the old people. We have the chefs, we have the manager. They know how to cook, they know how to plan, but no one knows about TikTok. They heard of it, right? But they don't know what it is. They think that it's about writing a blog, right? But it's not. So how do we TikTok marketing? Because there's no one going to dance, no one going to do filming, right? So then if the marketing firm that we outsource now charges a higher price, or they decide we want to close shop, enough already, we earn enough, then you need to find someone else. So there's always a dependency on someone else to do it for us. So that could be one impact here, okay? Then second impact could be, let's say, the reputation of the firm. So all these are possible answers. You could have other points. You can also put them inside. So reputation could be that, let's say, unethical practice. So if you have heard of this, let's say, can't remember, let's say Apple, let's say some of the smartphone industries, they use certain materials, and these materials are mined in Africa. So if you have heard of the child labor,
Ethical sourcing, right?
Yes. Okay, so they exploit the children in Africa. They go and mine. They could be 4, 5 years old, or maybe 5, 6 years old, right? They don't study, they don't access education. They go mine, they work. They earn probably $1 per day, but they are in the mine. You know okay, let me.
I'm from there, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, just to show her. Okay, yeah, this kind of environment, right? So if you're inside here, there's a lot of the toxic gases, right? Quite dangerous. If
That's
you
actually the good one because they use
it's clean already.
weapons.
Uh,
But if you
this
write
one.
people mining in Africa, they mine with their own hands, and sometimes the whole thing collapses on them.
Yeah.
A lot of people with that.
Okay, so in that case, then it wouldn't be, where's my document? Ethical. Okay, was it here? Okay, here. Okay, couldn't find the document. Okay, this one. Okay, so you could talk about the reputation as well. All right, now to add on to this, if we are doing short answer for this, okay, let's say this is a short answer question, then how else can we add to the answer? Again, oh, okay, can. Okay, so we can give a 0.3, and here this could be about a positive impact. So for example, let's say we mention cut cost. Okay, cheaper, right? So if we're doing for short answer, then we need 3 points. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Then anything else for this answer. Discuss some impacts of outsourcing. Opinion. So opinion here is to do with outsourcing. You can talk about, so this one we can mention, let's say what we feel about outsourcing. So for example, is it good or bad overall? Okay, no right or wrong, huh? This one is your own opinion. Maybe you have done outsourcing before, or maybe you have come into contact, maybe you have heard of this, read about this, or watched on videos. So you can give your overall views. Overall, I think it is a good thing. Overall, I think is usually a bad thing, right? So this is your view. Or you can mention things like, is it suitable for all businesses? Should everyone do outsourcing? Or who shouldn't do outsourcing? Or who should do outsourcing? So this is very general because they only ask you to discuss impacts about outsourcing. Okay, so you can mention any of this that will give you the opinion, and then with the 3 points, that will be the complete answer. All right, questions? All right, just to wrap up. So we have gone through chapter 1, right? Some of the key points. We talked about operations management. We talked about the factors of production. We talked about, where is it? Factors of production. We talked about the linkage with different departments in the same organization. We talked about the difference between products and services. We also just talked about outsourcing and also about customization. Okay, all right. So here we have the video links attached. Then some of this, you have the articles as well. No, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the venue, but yeah, 8:30. Okay, so we shall see, huh? So now we have about 30 plus here. We shall see how many come tomorrow. All right, so 8:30, and then I think it's this is 13-2, so it'll be 13-4. Okay, so same level, 13-4, the one with the window view. So if you feel sad, you can look up. All right, last call, questions? Don't have. Attendance, okay already. Then, okay, attendance, you guys no issues, huh? All right, then I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay.